Hello, everyone. We're live across social media. Please join us. We're going to be discussing some US immigration updates, the latest that you must know about. So please, I don't know if you guys can see me on Instagram. If you can see me on Instagram, please type USA. If you can see me across platforms, I'm not sure what's going on. Please confirm that you can see me on Instagram, and then we can go on. I don't think you guys can see me on Instagram. I might have to redo the Instagram connection. If you can see me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and all the other platforms, YouTube, TikTok, please. Okay, so I'm just adding Instagram again, and then we can go on. We're going to be discussing the 75 country ban, immigrant visa processing. Pause is what I should say, not a ban. Okay. I'm struggling with the Instagram. Can you guys confirm if you can see me on Instagram? Let me make sure it's fixed and then we can get started. Please bear with me, Facebook. Hello. Let me see. It does not look like you can see me on Instagram. The Instagram got disconnected again. Okay, let me try again for the third time. Or I'm gonna have to use another device, but we're going to be sharing our screen here, so I want you guys to see the documents. All right, let's see. Let me add Instagram again. I can't understand why I'm not able to confirm that I can see Instagram. I don't think we're live on Instagram. Okay, let me remove and add again. Then we'll start momentarily. Seems to be an issue somehow. Okay. All right, so guys, you can start dropping your questions, and if you can see me and hear me well, you can also type in USA. And once we're done with our discussion, we will pick some questions and attempt to answer them for you. Okay, I hope this one works. Okay, I think this is going to work. I hope it's going to work. Okay, I think it's loading now. Okay, I think this worked. Great, thank you. Wonderful. Okay, this is excellent. Thank you so much for your patience. You are welcome to today's live session. We're going to be discussing, everything happening in immigration, the breaking news, and what's, how it impacts our various applications and what we should be aware of. Okay, so let's get started with the Department of State memo. Let's see here. I'm going to share it from my iBook. There you go, and I'm going to just share a document that was prepared by Ayla Oh, you know what? We could actually use the actual document. Okay, let's come here. Guys, I am so sorry. Okay. I think this is it. Okay, there you go. Okay, I have it right here. Now let me share my screen and then I'm sharing my screen and I'm not sure who's after us today and why this is not working. Um, I'm not able to share my screen. Okay, well, I have it here. We can still review. So the US Department of State announced a couple of days ago that they are pausing the, you know what? Okay, I think we can use, but yeah, I wanted to share it from our Instagram, but I can't even seem to share anything. Okay, the US Department of State announced that there are 75 countries that are found, they found out that they are immigrants. When they come into the US, they are using a lot of public benefits. So they're using public welfare programs or, financial assistance programs. Many immigrants from these countries are taking advantage of them. And so, those of you who follow us remember 2 weeks ago, Trump posted on his one of his social media pages, which was on Truth Social, that there are about 120 countries. Well, he gave the percentages of immigrants from those countries who take public welfare. Like I think the highest, the countries that take the most public welfare, there were about 120 of them on the list. And I realized that something was going to happen because he doesn't just sometimes post in a vacuum. It looked like they were using that analysis to shape policy and shape immigration laws. So they came up with that list. So they compiled some data. We don't know the source of the data, but they compiled data showing the number of immigrants. Okay, I see what the issue is. It says that my browser has blocked my screen. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea why my browser will block my screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. Okay, maybe we should. Oh gosh, because I have so many documents I want to share today, so I'm not sure how we're going to do it without. How did this happen? I'm so sorry. This is very unfortunate because how to share? Okay. Okay, good. I think this worked. Okay, let's see. I think I've been allowed to share now. Oh my goodness. This is very, very unfortunate. Let's see if I can do anything about this. Um, how do I share this here? I've been sharing screens all right, and then all of a sudden now I can share. Um, and I can't even seem to, there are no settings here. Click the screen icon in your address. You can see me. Okay. I really wanted to share this. I don't know if I should reload the page so we can. Okay, guys, I'm trying to share my screen. I am struggling with sharing my screen. No. Please, guys, bear with me. I'm just having a technical challenge here. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep going. Unfortunately, I don't have, I wanted to show you, oh, there are some really, really interesting things I wanted to show you, but I cannot seem to share the screen. So we're going to likely have to proceed without it. All right, so the Trump admin compiled some data to show that there are some immigrants, when they come to the US, they tend to rely on public support. So the examples of public support, you guys know, like the WIC, when you give birth, I believe it's the feeding program for nursing mothers and pregnant women to help them feed well, and also when you are sick and you don't have medical insurance, you could either utilize things like Medicaid or Medicare if you qualify based on income levels or housing assistance, so Medicaid, WIC, food stamps, where you don't have money to buy food, you are given things called food stamps and you can use it to pay for food if you qualify. All these type of things are used to support immigrants who are earning below the federal poverty guideline. So they compiled it. Let me see. I still can't share it. I wanted to share that with you. We have some percentages. Some of the countries have, okay, let me go back here. Pretty much there were a number of countries. I wanted to share the percentages so that we could see which countries had high percentages. And I realized that there are about, over 50 of the countries listed on that 120 country list where they are taking public assistance from the US government. They are on the 75 country post list. Okay, so I hope you guys are following me. They're saying, the Department of State is saying, a bunch of these countries, or these countries, all the countries, 75 countries, their immigrants are taking too much public benefits. We don't like it. When they come, they must be financially independent. They must be able to work for their own money. And based on trends we've seen in the past, immigrants from these particular countries, they don't seem to be able to take care of themselves when they come. When they come, they are always relying on the government to pay stuff for them. And so that's the basis of that immigrant visa pause. And one of the things for you to get an immigrant visa is to show that you are not going to be a public charge. You won't be a burden, or you won't be a stress, another stress on the US taxpayer. Okay, so you have to show that you are able to take care of yourself financially, or you have a sponsor that's able to take care of you. Immigrant visa applicants, they are able to, get green cards once they enter the United States. So what the Department of State has decided to do is to pause the issuance of immigrant visas for the 75 countries. Initially, the White House and Caroline Leavitt has said they were pausing, the US government was pausing all visa processing for 75 countries, but the Department of State clarified that it's just immigrant visa processing, and that added to a lot of the confusion that we were seeing. People were like, is it every visa? Like, what is it? If you're from these countries, can you not come for the World Cup anymore? But then they clarified and said it's for immigrant visas. So when we talk about immigrant visas, we're talking about three main categories of visas. These are the number one, family-based immigrant visas. If you are applying for a green card outside the US, based on the fact that your mom, your dad, your sibling, or your parents, one of your family members, or your child has filed an application for you, then you can get a green card once you enter the US. So the first is family-based immigrant visas. They are impacted. Then second, we have the employment-based immigrant visas. If you're applying for an immigrant visa through the EB2, EB1, or EB3, then your visa cannot be issued to you. It's paused. Then we have the third category, which is the diversity visa, immigrant visa. If you are applying for an immigrant visa through the diversity visa lottery, then your visa cannot be issued until the visa pause is removed. Okay, so this is an indefinite pause, meaning we don't know when it's going to end, but we do know when it's going to start. It's going to start on January 21st. It will start on January 21st. They are going to pause, and so hopefully between now and January 21st, the government will still issue immigrant visas. They already have started. We've heard reports of them already denying cases, and that this pause, I mean, that should not be the case, because that's why there's an implementation date. Implementation date says that you have to wait until January 21st to pause issuance. And according to the Department of State, the memo or the guidance that they released on their own website, it says that you can attend your immigrant visa interview. Immigrant visa interviews are not cancelled. You can also submit an immigrant visa application. You should submit an immigrant visa application if you intend to apply. And all immigrant visas that have been issued also are not revoked. They are not revoked. So let's look at the countries that are impacted, go over that, and then I'm going to answer some of the questions you guys have about K1 visas, the implications. Should you go for the interview? What's the difference between this and the visa ban, the travel ban and the visa ban? I'm going to break it down in this live video session. We've wasted a lot of time when we're trying to figure out, but please stick with us and you'll have some of your questions answered, and we'll have clarity at the end of the video session. Okay. All right, so let me go back to the list here. All right, so the immigrant visa processing pause is for 75 countries. Those are the people that are taking welfare. They are, according to the government, they are taking advantage or extracting the wealth of Americans. It's very bizarre that they are saying all these things, but we'll talk about that later. Let's stick with the facts for now and not delve into opinions or perspectives. Okay, so they are going to be going through, there's going to be a full policy review to ensure that immigrants from these high-risk countries where they are taking advantage or utilizing U.S. public benefits they don't do that and then become a public charge. I'll say that it's likely that they are going to also pause adjustment of status cases for these high-risk countries, because adjustment of status is the application that gives you a green card, and you are inadmissible if you cannot show that you are able to take care of yourself, or your sponsor is able to take care of you, or you are likely to become a burden financially to the government. So it's likely they are going to pause. USCIS might follow up with a pause on green card cases from these countries. Now, these are the 75 impacted countries. We have Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Antigua and Barbuda, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belarus, Belize, Bhutan, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Brazil, Burma, Cambodia, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Colombia, Cote d'Ivoire, Cuba, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Dominica, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Fiji, the Gambia, Georgia, Ghana, Grenada, Guatemala, Guinea, Haiti, Iran, Iraq, Jamaica, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Kuwait, Kyrgyz Republic, Laos, Lebanon, Liberia, Libya, Moldova, Mongolia, Montenegro, Morocco, Nepal, Nicaragua, Nigeria, North Macedonia, Pakistan, Republic of the Congo, Russia, Rwanda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Tanzania, Thailand, Togo, Tunisia, Uganda, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, and Yemen. I felt like we're doing the Miss World beauty pageants where we're listing out all these countries because, well, so those are the 75 countries that are impacted by the immigrant visa pause. Okay, so if your country is on the list, then your immigrant visa will not be issued. Again, you can attend your immigrant visa interview. They are not cancelled, but they're not going to issue you your immigrant visa during the pause from January 21st, from January 21st, 2026. If you are one of a national of the affected countries, and you have a passport of another country, you're a dual national. So let's say you are a Ghanaian and you happen to be Canadian. You can use and so if you're a Ghanaian, you happen to be Canadian, your husband has applied for you for an immigrant visa. You can use your Canadian passport to get a US immigrant visa, because immigrant visas have not been paused for Canadians. So if you have a valid passport from another country that is not affected or impacted by the pause, you can get your immigrant visa. So that's a way to get around this. Okay, your visa will not be revoked if it's already been issued. And no, this does not apply to tourist visas or other non-immigrant visas. Okay, this does not apply to other non-immigrant visas. Okay, so now we've been getting questions about, is K1 visa impacted? This is where I wanted to show you directly from the US government. Let's talk about the K1 visa. The K1 visa is essentially a non-immigrant visa, And so if it's a non-immigrant visa, then it should not be impacted by this 75 country immigrant visa pause. But the problem is that even though the K1 is legally a non-immigrant visa, it is practically or functionally an immigrant visa, because it's processed, number one, as an immigrant visa, and it actually acts as an immigrant visa, because a K fiancé visa is, a non-immigrant visa. If you have a US citizen, boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance, they can petition for you if you're outside the United States, and you can come in on the K fiancé visa. Your children can come in or as derivatives on the K as well. And once you enter, you have 90 days within which you marry your US citizen spouse. They file for you an adjustment of status, and then you become a green card holder. So at the end of the process, the K is looking at you becoming, a green card holder. And because of the fact that the Ks are processed as immigrant visas, it is likely that the Department of State could say, oh, but we're processing these at this as a as an immigrant visa, and so it should be impacted by the pause. I'm hoping for number one, either the Department of State will offer clarification on how the K non-immigrant visa will be treated under this new immigrant visa pause policy. Okay, because when it comes to the 39 country list ban, Ks are exempt under the partially banned countries. When it comes to the fully banned countries, Ks are also banned. Remember that there's a 39 list country ban, 39 countries are banned, 20 countries are banned. Let's see here. Let me just verify if it's 20 countries that are banned partially, or let's check here so we have the right numbers. Okay, I've just found the list I was looking for with the those taking public benefits, but now we're looking at the numbers. Hold on, let me see. I think I have the figures here. There are so many countries implicated that now you can't even keep track of who is on what list. Is that not so crazy? Okay, let me see here. We have 39 countries that are banned. We're just looking for, okay, 19 countries are fully banned. The 19 fully banned countries, it means that those countries that are banned as to immigrant and non-immigrant visas. If your country is fully banned, like let's see, let me see which country is fully banned. Let me give one example, like Yemen. Yeah, let me just give like Yemen. Yemen is one of the countries that is fully banned. They are banned as to immigrants and non-immigrant visas. So if you're from Yemen, then your K1 is obviously banned. But if you're from one of the partially banned countries, then it means that your non-immigrant visas are allowed. It's only banned as to partially banned countries are only banned as to immigrant visas and some non-immigrant visas, the B, F, M, and J. Ks are allowed. So it looks like they're granting the partially banned countries the K visas. Okay, and that's where it doesn't make sense, because logically it doesn't make sense, because if a spouse of a US citizen is banned, then why should a fiancé of a US citizen be allowed to enter the United States? You see, so these are some of the loopholes in some of their policy drafting, because if you are trying to prevent people from coming into the US who are security risks, then you know, should spouses of US citizens not have greater rights than fiancés of US citizens? Okay, so that's it. And then when you come to the 75 country list, immigrant visa cases are paused for all the 75 countries. K is a non-immigrant visa, but it is processed as an immigrant visa. If you look at the intent, which is trying to prevent people from becoming a public charge according to the government, Ks will end up coming into the US, will end up getting married, and they have to apply for adjustment of status. And so the US government is likely going to allow Ks to progress through the processing pipeline. However, if they decide that, you know what, we're going to be treating Ks as immigrant visas because they're even processed as immigrant visas. I'll tell you what, K non-immigrant visas are actually processed by immigrant visa issuing posts. The same process, like medicals, everything that the immigrant visas do, the immigrant visa related procedures, they apply to K. And so it's likely that the government could come up and say, yeah, we know Ks are non-immigrants, but they are also paused because they operate like immigrant visas. I wanted to show you the contradictions in the US government, the Foreign Affairs Manual, the Department of State's website. I had some laws, I pulled up some regulations I pulled up, but I'm unable to share my screen. So we'll have to do it, hopefully I can fix it by next week to see what's going on. All right, so now let's see if you guys have any questions. So yeah, with regards to public charge, it just means that they don't want people who come in, and so long as you are coming in and you're going to apply for a green card, you have to be able to take care of yourself financially. They don't want people coming in and relying on the government. I found the list. Oh my gosh, I found the list of the countries. Okay, I found it here. This is the list that Trump shared. He said that he gave the percentage of immigrant households who receive assistance. The highest on the list is Bhutan. 81.4% of Bhutans, according to the Trump admin, they receive assistance. Second is Yemen. Third is Somalia. Yemen, 75.2% of immigrant households receive assistance. Somalia, 71.9% of immigrant households receive assistance. Okay, so let's see, for Ghana, they said it was, I think it was 35% from my memory. The last time when I checked, I believe it was 35%. Let me just see if I can double check that now. I can't find Ghana. It's interesting, but this list was not numbered, so it's a little difficult to track. So they said Africa, not elsewhere classified, or if it's not specified, 36.9% of African households in the US, they receive public assistance. And Nigeria, 33.3% of immigrants in the US receive public assistance. And it's just really, we don't know the source of this data. It's just really uncomfortable. How did they arrive at these numbers? It would have been great that we had something like the data source so that we could review whether this was accurate, because it's just, you just throw these numbers out there, act on it without giving us a source. Okay, well, so the public charge, currently, public charge means that you are liable to receive cash assistance for income maintenance, such as Social Security, SSI, TANF, state or local cash assistance program, or you are likely to be institutionalized, or institutionalized or placed in an institution for long term at government expense. Let's say you were placed in a nursing home, mental home for a long term, and the government has to pay for your upkeep. Those are the two sole grounds for public charge currently. And I would like to remind you guys that I believe November 2025, the Department of State actually proposed rescinding or canceling the 2022 public charge rule. They wanted to eliminate the public charge rule and make it broader. They wanted to expand officer discretion and allow consideration of a broader range of public benefits. They wanted to add more things that would make people classified as public charge, and therefore those people would not be able to get green cards. It was a proposed rule, and I believe the comment was open. People were supposed to submit comments, and comments closed on December 19th. And so they are likely going to be reviewing the comments. They are going to be, they'll review all the comments, and then they will then decide if the rule will be finalized, and then they can give the effective date of a new rule. Or they could decide that, we're not following through with this rule anymore. But yes, they want to update the public charge rule to broaden who is seen, who could be seen as a public charge. And public charge, again, is relevant for purposes of getting a green card. Okay, it's very connected. It is very connected. All right, so there you go. The issue with this new public charge rule is that it's going to discourage families from accessing healthcare or nutrition programs, because if you need something, then you're going to be afraid that, oh, if I go and accept Medicaid, even when I have a medical emergency, then I may not get a green card. And if you are pregnant in the US and you give birth, then your baby gets US citizenship. So this could impact even US citizens. Well, obviously that case is now going to be before the Supreme Court, and we'll figure out how they rule with whether all children born in the US are US citizens, or it's just children of a US citizen, or a child of a US citizen, or a child of a green card holder only who can become US citizens. If you're undocumented, they're going to rule on that. Okay. All right, so that's the public charge rule and how it ties to the 75 country immigrant visa pause. Okay, I think that we could take some questions online. Diwash on Facebook, June Katka says, is any news coming related to the pause that is going to resume again? No, the pause hasn't even started. The pause will start on 21st January 2021. So it says it's an indefinite pause. It means that we don't know when that pause is going to be lifted. They want to go over all the processes in terms of making sure that people who are coming in can pay for their hospital bills, they can pay for their food, they can pay for their housing. So now they are going to likely enforce, and we're already seeing some of these decisions. They're already asking for 2025 taxes, and they're asking for medical insurance, evidence, assets, things to show that you have money. Because again, it goes back to President Trump, everything he's been saying so far and everything he stood for. They don't want people from poor countries or third world countries to come into the US. They want people who are capable of adding to their country. Okay. All right, let me see if we have, so yeah, we're going to likely see, we don't know when they're going to lift this pause. It hasn't even started, so we have to wait until that happens. But yes, I believe that there's actually litigation being planned because, people are asking very valid questions. Then what is the point of filing an affidavit of support and asking people to provide tax document, people filing the 864 and stating that they are going to be responsible for their family members, so that the family members will not become a public charge, and that if the family members go for a public benefit, they will reimburse the US government. See, so the government is failing to do its job and now turning around to blame countries, because if you have a process to make sure that everybody who's applying for a green card has a sponsor who's entering into a contract with the US government to make sure that these people don't become a burden, then why are you not enforcing that instead of pausing immigrant visas for 75 countries? It looks like it's just an excuse for the government to just block a lot of immigration, block a lot of legal immigration. You claim you want people to do it the right way. They try to do it the right way. You come up with excuses to block it, because you know what? All they had to do, if they were really interested in making sure people don't become a public charge, is to tighten the affidavit of support rules. It's just to tighten it. Just really make sure that every beneficiary or every green card applicant has a sponsor, and that sponsor is held to their task. They say they are going to make sure that their beneficiaries or family members don't take government public benefit. So if they take public benefit, why don't you then go after them? So that's what they should be doing instead of doing this. Okay, now let's see, where can I find the names of the affected countries. We've shared it on our social media pages. U.S. Department of State website has the list of countries, and unfortunately, I am not able to share my screen, but we shared it directly from the U.S. Department of State website, and it's on the Department of State website, so you should be able to see this. You should be able to see. You should be able to see it. I'm just not able to share. We've shared it several times. So, somebody is asking if Stephen, is the public charge retroactive? What do you mean is a public charge retroactive? You know, do you mean that? So, a lot of laws, right? Laws are presumptively prospective. They don't go back and impose liabilities on people after the fact, because that's just not very fair. If I didn't know that this would be used against me, then after I did it, so for example, no, I shouldn't say if I didn't know that this would be used against me. Okay, so let's say today there's no rule that you cannot do a live video session. There's no such rule. It's not criminal to do a live video session. The rule comes into effect on Sunday. If the rule comes into effect on Sunday, they cannot now hold me liable for doing a live video session on Friday. It's laws are generally not retroactive. They are generally prospective, because it's just going to be very unfair to make someone liable for what was not criminal when they did it. So generally no, but we don't know what they are going to be looking at. We don't know whether if you've used certain public benefits in the past, it could impact you. We are going to have to wait to see what new policies they are going to come up with. And then if some of these new policies are unfair, then there's likely going to be litigation to challenge its legality, but we have to wait. Generally, rules are not retroactive, but we'll wait to see whether if you've used any public benefits in the past, it could impact your ability to get a green card later. Arjo, okay, there you go. This Rejo D says on Facebook, Trump is creating too much trauma in the system for immigrants. This is gonna bring more stress in the system. You're absolutely right. It's so much stress. There's just so much stress. So much stress. It's you guys will not believe it's a lot of stress on many families, and it's just so much chaos. Even the officers themselves are confused. They just keep issuing contradictory statements, saying sometimes they don't even understand what's going on. When we go for immigration interview, some of the officers said, look, sometimes they're very confused. One morning it's one policy, by the afternoon the policy has shifted. They have told us they are very confused. It's very stressful. So you are very right. Even the adjudicators themselves are feeling what's going on now. Okay, so let me see if there's any questions on TikTok. Ebo Parkland says, I have my immigrant visa approved, already planning to leave the country on January 29th. Am I affected? No, you should not be affected. You should still be able to enter the US. Yes, you should still be able to enter the US. Your visa will not be revoked, and you should be able to enter and come and enjoy your American dream. You guys, guess what? I saw one of the officials from the Trump administration saying that the American dream is only for Americans. Oh, actually, it was the Department of Labor. It was on their Facebook page. They said the American dream is only for Americans, not for anybody else. So it looks like we have to revise, who enjoys the American dream. Agbono Lala Okwarobo says, is H-1B visa affected by the adjudication hold for Nigerians? Yes, it is affected. H-1B petitions are on hold. They are on hold in the United States. So if you have a petition, an H-1B visa petition pending with USCIS, then it's on hold. It's not going to be issued unless you can show that one of the exemptions of the adjudicative hold apply to you. When it comes to, visa issuance back home in Nigeria, H-1Bs are not blocked. H-1Bs are not blocked, so you should be able to get if your H-1B visa, petition has already been approved, then you should be able to get your H-1B visa and you should be able to enter the US. CBP at the port of entry might ask more questions, scrutiny because of the security reasons. We already answered questions on K1. K1, we've already explained that K1 is a non-immigrant visa, but processed as an immigrant visa. And so they should be exempt from this immigrant visa process. They're not even impacted, not even exempt. They don't even fall under the immigrant visa processing pause. But the Department of State could be mischievous and say that, look, because K1s are processed as immigrant visas, they are part of the processing pause. Okay, all right, so let's go on. Let me see if I have any other questions. There's a lot of questions. I will not be able to answer them. I think I've answered quite a few. Please, there's so many questions. I will not be able to answer everybody's question on a live, and this is for general education purposes. We share a lot of videos, we share a lot of posts. You still have questions, then please contact us. Baba T says, are 601 waivers impacted? From which country? It depends from which country. If you are from one of the 39 countries high risk of concern, then 601 waiver is impacted because it's a benefit. It's it's going to grant a benefit unless you can show that you somehow exempt from the adjudicative hold. Okay. All right. Let's see if we have any questions on Instagram as well. Can applicants apply for B1, B2 from Nigeria? No, you cannot apply for B1, B2 because you have a ban. You have a partial ban, and the ban affects Nigeria, B, F, M, and J. No need to be confused. I've explained all these on our social medias. You have more questions, please contact us, because the social media, we can't get into specifics and details, but B applicants from Nigeria, you cannot apply because, well, you can apply, but they'll just take your money and deny you under section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act. There's a presidential proclamation banning you from getting a B visa if you're from Nigeria, and banning you from entering the US if you're from Nigeria. So unless that, unless you can show that you're exempt, you cannot apply for B. But there are some people that are exempt, okay? So we've done videos covering the exemptions. Someone said, I saw a question here, it's near B. Can you represent on Instagram? Can you represent clients from out of state and attend meetings and interviews with them? Yes, we can. We do that all the time. We have clients in all 50 states nationwide in the US, and we can attend your interview. So feel free to contact us and we'll help you. Heavenly Scented Candles on Instagram says, can A2 visa be adjusted? Yes, A2 visas, those diplomatic visas can be adjusted. Some of those visas have to have their immunity waived. We can help you with that process. Make sure you contact us to do your adjustment of status case from A to green card holder. It is possible. We've done that and we've had a lot of success. Okay. All right. So please, you need more help. 802-780-0564. Just Google AK Poku Law. We represent immigrants nationwide and worldwide in all U.S. immigration matters, and we will be assisting you with your cases. Okay. But we share a lot of videos and posts. You see our videos, you have questions, you can drop them, and your question can be picked for our next video topic. But I tell you guys, some of these sessions are just to provide general legal education and clarification, they are not a substitute for specific guidance for your case. So, as much as possible, please make sure you speak with a qualified immigration attorney. I see that there's a lot of people giving immigration advice, so be careful, that you don't just take advice from a content creator who says they are giving immigration information. All right. What Jody says, what sort of visa is going to be issued for World Cup coming up? Usually B visas, because you're coming to as a tourist, so B visas. And I understand there's a lot of people already canceling they are getting refunds of their FIFA tickets. I mean, there's a lot of mayhem. I don't blame them, but I don't think the US they really care. I don't know, but because if they did, then I don't know why they're coming up with all these policies and it's just discouraging people. People are boycotting the US and they're saying like we won't even come for the World Cup. So it looks like that's going to be an unfortunate outcome. Um, Kwame6684 says, my children's case is at the embassy. Kwame, contact us. We'll help you with this, okay? We've run out of time. Okay, so Patricia says on YouTube, this is the best time to have an immigration attorney like AK Poku to guide and advise you. I agree with you. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm so sorry we couldn't share a screen. I had so many things pulled up to be able to share with you. But hopefully we can work on it before our live video session next time. If you haven't followed AK Poku Law across all social media platforms, make sure you do so you can get verified, accurate immigration information. All right. Take care, guys. I wish you a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.